Have you often thought about starting your own architecture practice but gotten daunted by how you'll start and grow and sustain a business? Or have you already just taken the first step of starting an architecture studio and are finding yourself questioning your decision every day? Whatever stage of your career you may be at, I'm going to give you some pointers that sadly no one teaches or talks about in architectural education. These are real life principles of not practicing architecture as the art, but building architecture as a business and earning money and reputation out of it. So let's dive in. Architecture is unanimously recognized as one of the most difficult, but more importantly, one of the most underpaid professions globally. Part of the reason for it, in my opinion, has been the inability of architects as a community over the ages to sell their skill as a business essential the way that other professionals have managed to do. Not to say that there are no other or more serious reasons, but it's one which can be acted upon as a community. So, how do you stand out in a situation where your profession is struggling at large? I'm sharing here the 10 commandments that I've picked up in the 10 years that I've worked in this field through my successes and failures, building a business in architecture from the ground up. Lesson 1: build a personal brand and with it, trust. When you're starting off, it's important to be hands on with every project you get. Don't hire or build a team till the time you can serve the clients yourself. Apart from just saving money, this will result in three very important outcomes. One, you will get deep into what projects require to actually execute from start to finish and the challenges faced along the way, whether with clients, software, hardware, construction, design, and everything else that comes along the way. This is invaluable real practical experience that you will use when you do manage a team and every time a client tries to underplay their scope of work. Second, you build connections and get used to client talk, what they expect, what upsets them, questions they ask, the doubts they have, what they appreciate, how they negotiate, what convinces them, and every other aspect of client communication. The more you know, the more you can anticipate and preempt. This ability to anticipate a client's next move will be absolute gold later in life when you manage larger and more complex projects. Third and most important, your first few clients will know you. They will trust you and refer you. Once the network effect is in place, this trust in you will get people to trust whatever team you decide to build. The absence of this trust and recognition in one person is what often drives clients away from companies. Key people interacting with clients often take their clients with them when they switch companies. It's extremely important for clients to know the professional whose skill they're calling upon. Number two, persistent communication. Once you have built some contacts and connections, be consistent in communicating with them. Remember, there's a difference between spamming and communicating. Send wishes on important occasions, give them updates on significant developments you experience, catch up on important global events. Just maintain cordial communication so they remember you when they or someone in their network needs what you offer. In the right place at the right time is an underrated coincidence. Design it for yourself. The idea is to be in the mind of the right person when they need what you're in the market for. This is more important in the early stages when you're swimming in a pond full of seemingly similar fish, new professionals all trying to showcase their skill and tenacity. Things could be different once you begin to garner some sort of reputation and clients trust your name, but till the time that happens, you have to be in their mind when they're looking for someone like you. And whoever's there at the right time will take the prize. Number 3, Frugal Economics, your crash course in financial management. Be sparing with your expenses when the money starts to come in. Hire only who you absolutely need, find the cheapest space to work from, learn the cheapest software to deliver your product, try to minimize time spent on each delivery. Remember that time is money. The less time you've spent, the less expense you've incurred on that project. This may very well be the beginning of your financial management crash course that will help you greatly as you build up. This is the most important skill for running a business that no one ever talks about or discusses in architecture. Spending too much at the start might put you at risk of outrunning your earnings, which is not something you want till the time you have some steady cash flow going. This is not to say that compromise on quality for saving money, but spend on only enough quality for the moment. Don't buy the fanciest computer until there is a cheaper one that meets your needs just fine. Number 4, grip your numbers. Once you have gotten the hang of frugality, start tracking your numbers. Develop basic metrics of total expenditure, total earnings, and total time spent on each project. Regularly track these numbers. Account for all expenses you incur on producing any one project. The objective is to know your total hourly spent and subsequently the hours spent so that you can develop objective empirical benchmarks for deriving a fee for any project and track your earnings from it. It's a lot easier to start this early when the numbers are small, you're spending on less things, and transactions are happening seldom as compared to when you have rents to pay, software fee, travel, hardware purchases, maintenance, and so on and so forth. If you have a grasp on these metrics by the time you have your growth spot, you'll find it way easier to navigate your finances and avoid making losses on larger projects. Number 5, your boundaries define you. When you're starting off, it's easy to fall into the trap of fear. Fear of losing opportunities for not responding immediately, fear of losing trust by not working overtime, fear of losing projects for high fee. Although all of these can never totally be avoided, it's important to figure out when they're really necessary. Making yourself too easily available and malleable is counterproductive. Clients will always be in a hurry, they will always want work yesterday, and will always have someone ready to work for a lower fee. But as you will soon realize, not all queries need to be answered at 9 pm over WhatsApp. Not every site visit needs to be scheduled for a Saturday or Sunday, and getting a quote the next day wouldn't make any difference to the client's project timelines. Often, clients try to hurry you into making decisions that suit them more than they suit you by depriving you of time to analyze and evaluate. If your end game is to not work on weekends, practice it from the start so that all clients get used to it and you get used to forcing your boundaries on clients. It's your work that sets your value, not your 24/7 availability. Number 6, don't be afraid to let go. Get used to saying no more than saying yes. It's great if you can convert every project that you pitch for, but you have to be sure that you're not getting squeezed beyond your means for securing any project. Every single client you ever meet will negotiate, and you have to set a line beyond which you will let go. Whatever stage of growth curve you may be at, every project will seem like a big opportunity that will likely not come again. However, while projects might not come back, opportunities will. If a client or project is setting unreasonable expectations, let it go, no matter how big the opportunity is. The bigger the opportunity, the higher the chances are of things going south. And getting out midway is never good for reputation. Start high, but set a hard bottom line and be prepared to let go. This is true for fee, scope of work, delivery expectations, deployment terms, payment terms, anything. Your desperation will only become a tool for your client to have you submit. Number 7, don't take contracts for granted. Agreements are better when written and documented. The nature of our work is such that projects go on for months, if not years, and multiple stakeholders come and go. It's impossible to remember every conversation and agreement that takes place. That's why contracts exist. Written documentation of what you will do, how you will do it, how much you'll get paid, and what you'll get paid, your client's obligations, and all other conditions binding your association with that project. It's an important document that's often not given its due consideration. While it's not always possible to be fussy about each and every word of a 50-page contract, it's extremely important to read thoroughly, understand, and discuss all possible implications and expectations, however unlikely to occur, with your client and, if needed, legal and accounting consultants. You'd be surprised to find out how often clients or their representatives just copy contract language and have no idea what they've written in there. So make sure you and all parties signing the contract are aware of what's written, its implications, and make modifications if and where necessary. Never sign a contract without a thorough reading and evaluation. If you can't push a change, you'll at least know what you could potentially face and have a plan for it. Number 8, maintain records and archives. Conversations often get lost in memory and translation, so make sure every important decision and related communication is properly recorded and archived. It may seem as a deficit of trust by some, but it's amazing how two people can have completely different interpretations of the same conversation. So recording and archiving is not a matter of trust, but a matter of accurate recall for everyone involved. Representatives and employees resign, contractors change, vendors come and go, and what has been agreed with one may not be conveyed to another in its entirety. What has been agreed today may be forgotten after a couple of years if the project has gotten stalled or conditions have changed. Having an objective and unequivocal record of all communication is a sure-shot method to avoid conflicts. Further, you'll have ready reference for when you face similar situations later in your future projects. Make emails and structured documentation an immutable part of your professional practice, and you'll save yourself a ton of headspace spent in sorting and recalling sign-offs, agreements, pendencies, changes, and any other developments that take place along the way of a project. It seems tedious and meaningless at the start, You'll find it hard to decide what's important enough, but make it a practice with the smallest things, and before you know it, you'll have figured it out. Number 9, sell only what you can deliver, be honest and transparent. So often I've seen new practices which unreasonable design or fee to clients, or had to pick up projects midway because the previous consultant couldn't cope with the demands of the project. This is not necessarily to say that they intended to deceive the client, but certainly did not comprehend the complexities and demands of the project before they made assurances. Upselling is fine, but overselling is not. It'll degrade your reputation in the long run if you end up pitching projects one after another. Make sure you understand your limitations, how much you can upskill or scale up, and pitch only for what you know you can deliver with 100% certainty. I've seen 3 people teams committing to work that requires 10, underestimating or underquoting fee, and outspending themselves, resulting in substandard product, underplaying adverse possibilities in complex projects, assuming overly simplified demands from technically complex facilities such as hospitals or data centers, and even falling short on expectations. It's better to be honest and upfront about your capacity and capabilities so you climb the growth ladder and not slip and fall trying to run it down. By all means, don't restrict yourself to the same level of work over and over. Upsell, compete for a notch or two above your current capacity and capability. That's how you'll earn higher experience. Think 10 times as more and 10 times as deep before committing to upselling 5 notches. And once in, make sure you do everything that you must to see it through. Number 10, always pull through. Networks are built on reputation, reputations are built on trust, and trust is built when you pull through, facing all the challenges that life has to throw at you. This is probably the toughest thing you'd have to do, but probably one of the most important. See every project through to its end. This is not for the ones that pay you well, or the ones where you have creative freedom, or the ones where you have a nice and pliant client. Where's the fun in that? This is for the ones that you oversold, or the ones that have breached scope, or where you miscalculated your fee, or where the client is overbearing, making continuous design changes without requisite pay. Any project that has not turned out the way you had imagined and is giving you a headache. For every such project, try your best to pull through, because it's easy to leave projects halfway, but one tough project completed adds more value to your portfolio than 5 that you let halfway. Assess the client, and if they have a network that you could use or a project that could give you some bragging rights, jump through the hoops and see the project to completion with minimized losses. What seems like wasted effort is giving you credits for persistence and reliability, both of which are qualities that clients often pay extra value for, and is giving you invaluable learnings in what all can go wrong in a project so you can anticipate better in the future. Architecture is a tough profession. Whether you're in a job or working on your own, there's no escaping hard work, even with all the conversation around mental health and work-life balance being the rage around the globe right now. There's a whole gamut of skills and knowledge you need to gather in practice that your education just does not prepare you for, only as far as holistic architecture is concerned. Add business skills on top of it, and you have the perfect challenge. What I've tried to cover are probably generic business skills rather than those specific to running an architecture practice. But for us architects, we tend to get too broiled with the romanticism and technicality and all the creation that we don't pay enough attention to the business side of things. The long run nature of our projects does not make things any easier either. A whole lot of us spend years trying to figure this out, which is why you see so few architectural practices become as big as those in IT, accounting, or legal practice. I hope this discussion has at least given you some food for thought. As for me, I'm still learning on my journey of being an architectural entrepreneur, and I'll bring you more insights into our profession and practice. Let me know in the comments of what you'd like to talk about, and if you're one of those young professionals whom this video has talked about, I'd surely like to know what your learnings have been from your experiences. I'm eager to learn from other professionals going through their own struggles. Do remember to like, share, and subscribe for other interesting discussions around architecture and the world. Until next time, keep creating and keep growing. Cheers.